Two things are moving toward you at the same time. And I want to say that with the precision it deserves, because what I'm feeling in your energy today is not one thing with a secondary detail attached to it. It is two distinct, simultaneous, mutually reinforcing streams of energy that are arriving together because they are connected at the root, because the same internal shift that opened one opened the other. Because when alignment happens in a person's life, it rarely arrives in just one domain. It arrives across domains all at once, like light coming through a window that has finally been unblocked. The money is moving and the person is moving at the same time toward you now. I want to stay with that for a moment before we go anywhere else, because I think the simultaneity of it is the most important thing to understand. Because your instinct when you heard that, and I felt it in the energy, the slight disbelief, the this seems like too much quality that Virgo energy produces when good things arrive in multiples, your instinct was to pick one, to accept one as believable and hold the other at a skeptical distance, to say maybe the money or maybe the person, but probably not both at the same time because things don't work that way. They do work that way when the conditions are right. When something has shifted in the interior landscape of a person's life in a way that reorganizes what is possible for them across every dimension simultaneously. And something has shifted in yours. Something that I felt the moment I connected to your frequency today, and that explains everything I'm about to describe. You have moved into a different energetic position, not through a single dramatic event, through the accumulation of choices, quiet ones, private ones, the kind that nobody witnesses but that compound over time into something that changes the fundamental frequency you're broadcasting, the frequency that determines what you attract, what you repel, what finds you, and what passes by. That frequency has changed, and the universe is responding to the new signal. Before we go deeper, if something in you exhaled slightly when I said both things are coming, if the combination of those two specific things landed somewhere that felt personally accurate, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and drop the words both at once in the comments right now, because that is the energy of your current moment. Not one thing, both things simultaneously, already in motion. Let's go into what Spirit is showing me. Let me start with the money because it is the one you're less likely to let yourself believe, and I want to give it the full weight it deserves before we move to anything else. What I'm seeing is not a windfall, not a sudden, unexplained lottery style arrival of abundance that has no connection to anything you've done or built or become. What I'm seeing is a return, the specific financial experience of something that you put out, effort, time, energy, skill, the particular quality of work that you produce when you are fully invested beginning to come back to you at the level it was always worth rather than the level it has been compensated at. There is a gap that has existed between what you offer and what you have been receiving for it, between the value you create and the value that has been returned to you in material form. And that gap, which has been a source of quiet frustration, of the particular exhaustion of giving more than is coming back, that gap is closing. Something is shifting in the financial landscape of your life in a way that is going to feel almost disorienting at first because it will be so different from the pattern you've adapted to. The pattern of working hard and receiving less than the work warranted, the pattern of watching your output not be matched by your income in the way that felt fair or accurate or sustainable. That pattern is breaking. What replaces it is something more aligned, more accurate to what you actually produce and who you actually are and what your time and skill and presence are genuinely worth in the world. And the form it takes, the specific channel through which this financial shift arrives, is already in motion, already organized, already moving through whatever practical mechanism the universe has chosen as the vehicle for this particular return. It might arrive as an opportunity that comes through someone else, a conversation that pivots in a direction you weren't expecting and opens into something tangible, an offer that arrives through a connection you already have or one you're about to make, information that changes what you believe is available to you professionally, financially, in terms of what you can ask for and receive without apology. However, it comes, and Spirit is showing me it comes soon in the near window of time, rather than the distant eventual when it arrives. I need you to receive it without the particular Virgo habit of immediately finding the reason it might not be as good as it seems. Without the audit that begins the moment something positive enters your field, without the protective skepticism that has served you in some contexts, and in this context will simply slow down what is trying to reach you. Say yes to it, quickly, from the part of you that knows before the analysis begins, before the list of concerns assembles itself, that this is real and this is yours, and this is the financial chapter that has been building toward you through everything that came before. Now, the person, and I want to describe what I'm feeling around this reaching out carefully because the quality of it matters as much as the fact of it. This is not an impulsive contact, not a weak moment late at night that produces a message regretted in the morning, not a testing the waters, let me see how they respond, keeping options open kind of reaching out. What I'm seeing is deliberate, considered, the specific quality of someone who has thought about this, really thought about it, turned it over, examined it from multiple angles, asked themselves the honest questions, and sat with the honest answers, and has arrived at a place of genuine intention. They intend to reach you. They intend to say something real. They intend for this contact to mean something and to open something, rather than simply to satisfy a momentary impulse and then retreat back into silence. What has been happening on their end? And I want you to have this visibility because I think it changes everything about how you receive. What is coming is a process of getting clear, of the kind of internal reckoning that takes time precisely because it is being done honestly rather than quickly. This person has not been absent from your life in the emotional sense during the period they've been absent in the practical sense. They have been present to the question of you, to what exists between you, to what they feel and what they want, and what reaching out honestly rather than strategically would require them to say. That process is complete. What it produced is clarity. And clarity, for someone who has been in the fog of uncertainty and managed feelings and careful distance, has the specific quality of relief. of finally knowing what is true after a period of not quite letting themselves know, of being done with the management of something that was always going to resist being managed because it was always going to be real. They are clear now about you, about what they feel, about what they want the reaching out to begin. And that clarity is what you are about to receive. Not the managed version, not the careful, this is what I can say without revealing too much version. The clear version. The one that comes from someone who has stopped protecting themselves from their own truth long enough to bring it to you directly. I want to speak to why these two things are arriving together, because I don't think it is coincidence, and I don't think Spirit is treating it as coincidence, and I want you to understand the connection between them. Both of these things, the financial shift and the personal reaching out, are responding to the same thing in you, the same internal change that I described at the beginning, the shift in your frequency, the movement into a different energetic position that happened through the accumulation of quiet, private, nobody is watching choices that changed who you are at the level where what you attract is determined. Specifically, and Spirit is being precise about this, you have gotten clearer about your own worth, not in a performed, I am going to tell myself I am worthy sense. In the real, embodied, shows up in how you move through the world sense. In the sense of someone who has stopped apologizing for taking up the space they actually occupy. Who has stopped discounting themselves before anyone else has a chance to. Who has stopped accepting less than what they know quietly, privately, in the honest interior is actually aligned with what they offer. That clarity about your own worth is what opened both channels simultaneously. The financial channel opened because the universe responds to what you believe about your own value. When you stopped discounting yourself, the field around you shifted, and what began moving toward you financially is the reflection of the new belief, the more accurate one, the one that matches what you actually are rather than the diminished version you'd been accepting as adequate. The personal channel opened because this person who has been watching, who has been aware of you in the ways that people are aware of someone they feel deeply about, even when they are not in direct contact, felt that shift. People who are connected to us in the way this person is connected to you feel our energetic movements, even when they have no logical mechanism for doing so. They felt you becoming more settled in yourself, more certain, less available to be treated as anything less than what you are. And something in that, in the particular quality of you becoming more fully yourself, made the reaching out feel both more necessary and more possible than it had before. You're becoming more of yourself called them forward. That is the connection between the two streams. And it is why they arrive together, because they were opened by the same key. Let me tell you what to do when both of these things arrive, because they are going to require something from you, and I want you to be prepared for what that something is. For the money, act without over deliberating. I know that goes against every instinct you have. I know that Virgo energy is most comfortable when it has analyzed something from every possible angle before committing to it, and that instinct is valuable in most contexts. In this one, in this specific window, it is the thing that could cause you to miss what is arriving by thinking about it until the momentum dies. When the opportunity presents itself and you will feel it, there will be a moment of internal recognition, a knowing that arrives before the analysis has a chance to begin, and act on it quickly. Say yes from the part of you that knows before the part of you that worries has time to construct its list of concerns. Trust the first knowing. It is more accurate than the deliberation that follows it. For the person, be present, fully. When the message arrives, when the call comes, when whatever form the reaching out takes lands in your actual experience, be there for it completely. Not calculating your response while they're still speaking, not managing how much of yourself you show in the first exchange, present, open, in it with the full version of yourself rather than the careful version. Because what this person is bringing to you is real and it deserves to be received by the real you, not the protected you, not the 1 foot in, 1 foot out you, the actual you, the one that has been waiting for something real enough to come out for. This is real enough. One more thing before I close this reading. Something Spirit kept returning to that I want to make sure lands before we end. You have been in a season of giving more than you were receiving in multiple domains simultaneously. Professionally, giving more than was being compensated. Personally, investing more than was being matched. Energetically, showing up fully in situations that were not showing up fully for you. That season is ending. What is beginning, what the money and the person arriving simultaneously are the first expressions of, is a season of return. Of the universe beginning to match what you've been putting out rather than taking it without equivalence. Of the gap between what you give and what you receive beginning to close from the other side. Not because you've stopped giving, because what you give has finally found channels that are capable of receiving it and returning something of equal weight. You are entering a season of being properly met, financially met, personally met, in the daily practical experience of your actual life met, by circumstances that reflect your worth, by a person who shows up at the level you've been showing up at, by a version of your own existence that finally feels proportional to what you've been investing in it. That season starts now. The money is coming, the person is reaching out, and both of them are just the beginning of what this new season looks like when it fully arrives. Come back and tell me in the comments which one arrived first. Tell me about the message. Tell me about the opportunity. Tell me what it felt like when both things began to move in the same window of time. Because those words, your confirmations, are what this work is for. Subscribe to stay in the energy, and I will see you when the next thing moves.